On May 21st, 2010, in Bradford, West Yorkshire, England, Stephen Griffiths escorted 36-year-old Suzanne Blaymyers to his apartment. A few minutes later, she was seen on CCTV camera footage frantically running from his apartment. Stephen calmly walked out, armed with his crossbow, and shot Suzanne in the head. He dragged her back to his apartment, where she was never seen again. The entire shooting was caught on camera, with Stephen brazenly shoving a middle finger at the camera as he walked past. He was obsessed with the fame and attention surrounding serial killers, and he wanted his recognition. Welcome to History's Biggest Villains. Stephen Griffiths was born December 24, 1969 in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire. His family life was rather uneventful until his parents divorced. This hurt him greatly because he had a strong bond with his father. Classmates of his said that he was strange and had some oddball tendencies. He would collect hunting knives, and he talked about extreme violence with the other kids at school. Although he was withdrawn and disengaged at school, people around the town reported him doing sadistic things to animals. He would shoot birds and dismember them. Despite all of his antics, Griffiths was really intelligent, with his father paying £9,000 a year to put him into a private school. Despite all of this, Stephen dropped out of school in 1986 at the age of 16. His first brush with the law came a year later at the age of 17. He was caught trying to shoplift items from a supermarket in Leeds, and the manager tried to stop him. Then Stephen pulled out a knife and slashed the manager across the face, leaving a wound that required 19 stitches to close. Stephen was arrested and spent a year in juvenile detention for his crime. After his release from jail, he enrolled in a psychology program at the University of Bradford. But in 1989, he had another run-in with the police. He felt that a group of female students were making fun of him, so he broke into their apartment, brandishing a knife and pressing it to the throat of one of the girls before yelling at them to answer for this perceived offense. He then ran away without harming anyone else. Stephen was sentenced to 2 years in prison for this attack. While in prison, the psychiatrist described him as a sadistic, schizoid psychopath. He seems to relish the idea of killing and maiming people. He would openly talk with his fellow inmates about murder. You know, obviously someone that you should be letting out of prison. In 1993, he graduated with a degree in psychology amidst all of his criminal problems. During this time, Stephen began to fully embrace his murderous fantasies. He often wore a large black trench coat and walked his pet lizard on a leash. He definitely did everything he could to stand out in his neighborhood. In 1998, now 29, he met a new girlfriend named Zita Pinder through a Lonely Hearts ad. She met him in a pub and she warmed up to him. When she went to his apartment for the first time, she was taken aback by what she saw. His bookshelves were lined with biographies about famous serial killers, and he had samurai swords and crossbows hanging on the walls. Zita made up an excuse to leave, and she ended the relationship immediately. As Griffiths continued to study, he became obsessed with Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, calling him his role model. His fascination with murder consumed his entire life. On June 22, 2009, 43-year-old Susan Rushworth was reported missing. She was a mother of 3 who had been doing sex work at the time. The police investigation yielded nothing. For 10 months, the police struggled with leads. On April 26, 2010, a similar missing persons report was filed in Bradford. Shelley Armitage, who was 31, was also a sex worker. The police were again out of luck until they secured CCTV footage captured the night that she went missing, but nothing else came of it. While the police were investigating the previous 2 disappearances, a third woman disappeared from the area, 36-year-old Suzanne Blaymyers. She had dreams of becoming a nurse before developing a drug addiction and resorting to sex work. 2 days after Suzanne's disappearance, the police received CCTV footage that would blow the case wide open. The cameras were located in the hallway of an apartment where Griffiths lived. The caretaker of the complex was scrolling through the footage captured by the camera when he noticed a woman running down the hallway. A man was walking behind, whom the caretaker immediately recognized as Griffiths. He was carrying a crossbow. The woman seen running in the footage was missing woman Suzanne Blaymyers. In full view of the security cameras, Griffiths stopped and aimed his crossbow. He fired a bolt that hit her in the head. He then dragged her lifeless body back to the apartment, but not before he looked directly into the camera, sticking up the middle finger and holding his crossbow up so it was clearly in the frame. On May 24, 2010, the police rushed to Stephen's apartment, where he easily gave himself up. a stark contrast to the brazenness he had showed a few days earlier. Upon his apprehension, he told police that he was Osama bin Laden. During police interviews, Stephen said that he had deep issues inside of him, of course. Although he admitted to killing Susan Blay Myers, he refused to tell police where he hid her body. However, the next day, a passerby stumbled upon a backpack that was tossed on the ground, only 5 miles from his apartment. Inside the bag was the severed head of Suzanne Blay Myers with the crossbow bolt still stuck inside of it. The police searched the nearby lake and found numerous other body parts belonging to her. Police also discovered a suitcase with tools that might have been used to dismember her body. The police were able to determine that Stephen killed Suzanne, dismembered her in the bathtub, and left his apartment. He was even captured on CCTV carrying suitcases, which he admitted were full of body parts, to the train station before getting off the train to dispose of them in the river. Stephen had also admitted to murdering both Suzanne Rushworth and Shelley Armitage and multiple other women. He had an online alter ego named Ven Pariah, from whom he described as a misanthrope who brought hate into heaven. On May 28, 2010, his court date arrived. In an effort to torment the victim's family even further and increase his notoriety, he referred to himself as the Crossbow Cannibal when asked by the court to introduce himself. This caused a stunned silence throughout the courtroom. It was later revealed that Stephen filmed and took pictures of his victims. In December 2010, he pled guilty to the murders of Suzanne Blay Myers, Susan Rushworth, and Shelley Armitage. He was sentenced to a whole life tariff, and he was sent to H.M. Wakefield Prison upon his conviction, where he has been on hunger strikes and has attempted suicide on multiple occasions. I feel like when I look at this case, I just see someone who is fiending for attention, someone who is begging for attention in any way possible. Like, he sees what the serial killers have done, and he thinks, what can I do to create the most shock value and get the most attention? And I just want people to know me as this ruthless serial killer. Like, the fact that you would knowingly shoot someone with a crossbow, and you know that the hallway has cameras, and you look into the camera to try to be some type of cult figure against the authority establishment guy, but you turn out to be just a really narcissistic asshole, who really just feels like his own gratification supersedes everyone else. Like, the fact that you would be in the court, and this court, this is the court where you're on trial for the murder of 3 people, and you say to the court, I'm not Stephen Griffiths, I'm the Crossbow Cannibal. Think about how that would make the families feel. That is the ultimate just bravado, and just the you puffing out your chest and really thinking that you're that person. But he's in prison where he should be, and I hope he's not having a good time in there. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little story about Mr. Crossbow Cannibal here. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Also, don't forget to turn on my post notifications. Thank you. Please be safe. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.